So moving towards with our next module, that is CSS transition. So 10 years ago, we used to have animations using JavaScript. There was a lot of dependencies on JavaScript for animation and transition, which was being reduced by the CSS, specifically CSS3. In CSS3 technology, there are a set of modules and you should not be surprised that animation transition each have their own specification. With CSS animation, you can move the page element around, change the color based on user interaction, and with transition, you can change property values over specified duration of time. And that is all without the use of JavaScript. So in this module, we will cover CSS transition, its duration, how to set a delay, the timing function, how to write the whole four transition property into a small shorthand property, how to combine the different transition property into one. So let's just check out. So what is transition property? The property which we want to transit or animate for some duration. For example, if we want to animate like the width of a container, the height of a container, we want to scale it, we want to rotate it. So that particular property we used to apply using transition property. And we also want that it should have some duration, like it should perform that particular animation or transition for some part of time. So for that we are using duration, transition duration. But there might be some situation like we want to delay it with some part, like with some 2 to 3 seconds. So we can also apply that delay using the delay property. Moving with the timing function. So what is timing function? It defines how the transition will proceed during its duration. It also handles the speed of a particular transition. It has number of values such as ease, linear, ease in out, and ease out. Ease and linear are similar, like they will increase gradually. What the ease in will do? Ease in will animate that particular property at the initial phase with a fast speed, and opposite to that is out. It will animate that particular property at the end of the duration. And ease in out is a combination of ease in and ease out. It will speed up the animation at the start and the end of the total duration. Moving forward with the next thing, that is how to write the CSS transition shorthand. So whenever we want to change the property in a time frame, we can do that using the transition property. Transition property include uh, the name to be changed, duration, the timing function, and delay, which we have seen in the previous slide. So as you can see on my screen, like the color is the transition property which we will do. We want to change it. 3 seconds is the duration. Is the timing function which we provide, and 0.5 second is the delay which we want to. So this way we don't need to write each transition property on a separate line. We can use this shorthand thing. We can just provide transition and we are ready to go. Let's see how to combine the different transitions. So for example, there might be situation like we want to animate the height also at a time. We want to animate the width also, the background also, the font size also. We want to scale it also. We want to rotate also. So also things we can use to or use using the transition combination method. Like for that we are writing transition all. We want to transit the particular or all the properties at once, having the duration and the timing function, and we will write all the properties one beside the other with a common separated. So this way we can animate a bunch of properties at a time. So this is the way we use the transition combination. So let's just check out this module in code. So we are back again with a coding session of CSS animation. In that we have used transitions. So in this module we will cover the single transition property, shorthand transition, and multiple transitions. So before diving into the CSS code, I will just have some kind of HTML code ready. For that I will using a container and a main and a simple class of drop. Not drop. We will name it afterwards. Okay. So what I've planned is we will have three different types of examples. In the first example, we will be having a transition of width. In the second one, we will have some rotation animation, and in the third one, we will have some drop effect. First, we will go and using those only, we will have an explanation regarding the how it works. Okay, so this is single transition property. So I will target the container and I will have class of transition. So I will add a transition. Okay, and what I will do is I will provide some kind of width and height so it looks good and we will be able to understand how it is working, and width and height and some background color. I will have brown. Okay, so as you can see here, like we are already having background color. So what the transition we want, we will transit the width of the. So as we've discussed, like we will discuss single properties like transition of transition duration. We will have transition duration, we have transition delay. So duration would be of 2 seconds. Then we will have transition function is using. So like we have also discussed regarding the 4 values: is in, is in, out. We can have different types of values. We'll add different. So transition delay. This we haven't done the delay. Okay, delay will be around 1 second. Okay, so we can write transition colon width, or we can also write transition property width. Have this also, and what I want is like for the transition effect, some kind of animation. I will do one thing like on hover. I want the width to be of around 300 pixel. Yeah, so as per our CSS, what will happen is this width will increase from 200 to 300 in a time span of 2 seconds, and when we hover on this div, it will start the animation after 1 second. The animation function will be of ease type, and we will see the different use cases on the developer tools. So as you can see, like after a second, this width has increases. And if I move away from that container, the width is again back to the normal position, which is the 200 pixel. So as we have already discussed in the session, like there are four types. We can have transition property, duration, timing, each function. Let's work around on the developer tool. What I will do is right now, instead of is, I will have is in, and let's check out how it works. Yeah. We will have another one that is in out. Okay, so it has a fast speed, then the normal speed, then the fast speed again. So that's the way is in out works. Is in means having the transition fast at the start point of the transition, is out at the end of the transition, and is in out is a mixture of both the things. Now let's have some. Okay, so we will do one thing for the shorthand property. We will use the same kind of CSS, and I will let you know how to write the shorthand thing. Same kind of CSS here, and I will just comment out these things. Okay, so we are back with this. So for the shorthand, like we want to write the wait, duration, delay, timing function all in the one line. So we can go with the transition property, that I want the transition of with the duration of 2 seconds, the timing function of is, and a delay of 1 second. So as you can see, like we have saved the 4 lines. I usually prefer to go with the transition and have a shorthand property. So this way we can have a shorthand property itself. As you can compare it with this thing. We have such a long code, and here it's only the all the 4 lines have been combined into the single one. So this is the way it works. Yeah, so it's working fine. So moving on with the multiple transition system, what I will do, I will copy the same thing. I will have the rotation also. So what I will do, like I want that this particular div should rotate also. Okay, so for that I will do one thing, have a comma. I want the rotation also. For the rotate, have transform property to be rotated. I will have a transform rotate. I will have initial value of 0 degree, transform with the 2 seconds is, and 1 second delay. Okay, I will not have any delay for this one. Okay, and on hover I want that the transform should work, right? It should rotate 360 degree. Okay, so as you can see, like when I try to hover over it, it will rotate and it will increase a bit. So this is the way you can have multiple type of like the transition added on a single line itself. So what I've did is what I want to be transist, I have written one after the another on the single line itself. So this is the way you can have a multiple transition property on the single line. This is the most best way we can code to have a less code. Whatever the processing is going on, it's all dependent on the browser itself. We don't have to write again and again. This is the best thing we can do, and this is the way the transition work. Hope you like this video.